Hey everybody, hope you're having a good day. Tempest on our side live. Let's just go through anything from there. First off, we have Ingrid, Lewin. It sells for check -1. If she comes to origin 2 space an ally. Speed +6 during combat. Deal sounds equal to 20% of speed. And their speed is equal or greater than full speed +5. They can counterattack. I believe this can be fine. Move mode. Choose full defense and rest as it is reduced by 30% during combat. One charge max the weapon. Attack speed +4. If she's not choosing an ally, attack speed +7 during combat. Low speed defense 3. Speed defense match range of the foe and neutralize foe's bonuses to speed defense. From skills like Fortify ally and all stuff during combat. Roy's attack speed 3. At start turn, if she's not choosing an ally, attack speed +6 to her for one turn. Then we have Felix, Lone Wolf Blade. Self to trigger counts 1. If his HP is 20% or above at start of turn, grants the opponent backs to him for the turn. At start of turn. Or if his HP is 20% or above at start of combat, grants the following backs to him after combat. If Kunokan is maximum value, Kunokan -2. If his special Kunokan is maximum value -1, grants Kunokan -1 to him. Start of combat, if his HP is 20% or above, attack speed defense rest +5 to him. During combat, arm reduce damage post attacks during combat and other specials, excluding their brokers, by 30%. And also, if he's not choosing an ally, attack speed defense -5 on foe during combat. Godlike reflexes. If his speed is equal or greater than the foe speed -4, and his special trait or trait during combat, deal damage equal to 15% of his speed. When special triggers, reduce time foes attack by 40%. Special triggers only if his speed is equal or greater than foe speed -4. Also 2 charge max weapon. Attack speed finish. If he's within free space an ally, attack speed +7 during combat. And also if his special is ready or special triggers during before this combat, deals +5 damage during combat. Except artifact specialist ones. And when he deals damage to foe during combat, restores some HP to himself. Even if damage dealt, he'll still heal. Attack speed buffer. Foe turns 1 cannot move through a space adjacent to him. If the range 2, cannot move through space within 2 spaces of him. If that fast, doesn't work. Then attack speed -4 during combat to the foe, and 7 HP restored to him after combat. Speed smoke after combat, speed -7 on target and foes in 2 spaces of target from his action. Then he gets +6 speed and dodge. Dodge is via space of foe, reduce damage to attacks. During combat and for specials, it's Scrum Rover. 5% equal to the difference of the stats, times 4 up to 40%. So the difference is 10 maximum benefit. And then Felix. Sorry, Sophian. He's 4-star too. Ally X. Attack defense was 4 to allies in 2 spaces during combat. And if he's in 2 spaces an ally, attack defense was 4 to himself during combat. Mimbo to charge, she's to both defense and rest as it's just a 50%. Did we already have that? We did in fact have that. Attack defense catch 3. At the start comment, if full CP is 100%, or if a penalty is active on them, attack defense +5 during combat. And penalty just any debuffs that last for his action, like stat debuffs, kind of movement, restrict movement, all that stuff. Spur attack defense 2. Attack defense +3 to choose an ally during combat. That's your banner. Just take a random pick. Go from there. Best luck nonetheless. I'll go for Sylvian. Not Sylvian. Felix. I have all 3 regardless, so no real matter on me. I got Toe. Alright. And then we'll go for Tempest Trial and go from there. So as you know, it's Elliewood, and we're getting dull range 1 and close shot. I believe close shot is going to be just the close counter for bows. Unfortunately, it doesn't specify here, so guess that'll be the thing. Regardless, that's about it. Best thing or something like that. Now let's move on to the refinements that the updates are. So we're in 10.4. So first off, the list of bonuses is going to dictate things now. If it's blue, it's good. If it's red, it's bad. Best way to describe that part. Daily quests have been changed. So instead of defeating 10, 20, and win 2 arena duels, it's now just defeat up to 4 foes. You earn a standing potion in addition to extra rewards. That's going to come into effect on the 7th, and today's 6th, so tomorrow, basically. And then the codes, so, oh look, Felix, Young Robin, Asher 5-star. And then Perry, Halloween Renault, Bartra, Celestia, and Lissa are going to be your 4 stars. New Refines, I have 4 of these, so I don't have Young Leon. Do you have the information? I'll give thanks to Red for that one. And then we'll cover them in a bit. New Medicine Special we give them, of course. For raids, Tactics Rune is going to go up to 15 for both offense and defense. And we have the Tuning songs, we'll check them in a bit. Summer's Duels, your play level is going to go up to 6600. And then that's going to be in effect next week. And then Perfect Order is added, which for Captain, allies and chooses Captain. Attack defense +5, and disables their skills and foe skills that would change attack priority. That's also going to be in effect next week. Well, the seasonal attack will be from 2 months ago. It's going to be added to the 4 Grails. And then changes here. It's basically, it's going to choose recent legendary heroes that are affected with the elements, the blessing elements, but old ones are going to stay the same, basically. So more sample is fire is going. This is just how it's going to work. And it's going to be in fact starting tomorrow. And then I've also got to change fire, which I don't know what was. So you see, it's fire and wind. So we take. So I might as well say it's that. If we take the update in the consideration, starting tomorrow, it's going to be either Camilla, it's going to be either Black Knight or Alyssa, or Elise, and Alyssa, Alencia, or Shez. Now let's get the refinements as well as new things. So first off, Tanith gets a new one. Sonic Sword. Effect against flying foes. Calculate damage to Lord of Hosts if res. Attack speed defense +5 to her. Deals +20 damage, including her specials, and the range 2 style. Alright. I just had some talents, so I just merged them together. Alright, now let's get to the refinements. Well, actually started with Tanith because new one. And it was Condor remaining +1, minimum 2. So basically, what I'm removing she has left. And she offers it's a plot 2. For her and allies, her inferiors become center of her. Attack speed defense rest +5 and neutralize penalties during combat. And if her ally speed is equal, it's just greater than foe speed, and sufficient speeds are neutralize effects that guarantees foe attack and prevents theirs. And foe attacks are by 15. The new weapon is not actually too bad. Purim, Ancient Reginald, current attack guards for range. Yes, defense is free. Attack against -6 and speed -5 from foe. Deals +9 damage, excluding specials. And foe attacks are 15, excluding her specials. And then has the range 2 styles. Okay, so he has that too. Alright. And then at the start of the player enemy phase, attack speed +6 of Bulwark and Prenatal Pulse is granted to him and allies when chooses him for turn. Attack speed defense rest +10 to him, grants Kunkan +1 per attack. Has spells attack. And so Bulwark just can't pass basically. And Prenatal Pulse, Kunkan -1 before its first attack. You know, that's not too bad. It's not too bad. Alright, let's just... I forgot to do something. Forgot to give her this. She was going to be the next thing I was going to check too. There we go. Alright, rest +3. At the start of the player phase, grants stallions to her and allies and chooses her turn. The change here is so rather than just herself. Then at the start of the player phase, and after acts, if counter triggers after that, attack rest -7, so up from 6. Panic and rest shackle. It's inflicted on the close foes when choose with a focus action. Okay. And then attack rest +6 and speed defense +5 to her. Foe attack by 7, she's guaranteed a follow attack. And inflicts Kunko -1 on foe per attack. Alright, so solid start for free to play units. And then attack speed defense +10 to her, deal +2 damage. Arm reduces damage to foes non-special action skill by 50% during combat. I think the most of her like original effect probably took the effect there. So okay, fair enough. I'll take that, I guess. Bjorn! Niffle Spike. Excels to carry my son, current restraints. Alright, that's fair enough. Attack, speed, defense, rest plus 5 there, sorry. Deals plus 9 damage. Excluding specials. And a foe uses a bow, dagger, magic or staff. Neutral effects of faster current attack. I'm sure something he's after combat. Okay, so to remove basically little condition on healing. That's all that's all it did. And as well as the plus 3 health. But regardless, it's just removing that plus that 7 HP heal. And then at the start of the enemy phase, excluding Ponto Loki, if there are no fighting icicle currently applied by her allies, applies it to spaces 2 spaces away from her for the turn, excluding spaces occupied by foe, the Sugar Materians other than the Pine Pain, or spaces in the Pine or war space in Rivals Domain, and then the Pine Pain first to her space and space within free space of her for the turn. She literally just gets Corn's ring. Then attack speed defense plus 10 to her, reduces damage per side by 15 during combat, which pairs well with her Ice Smear. Okay. Where does the Kanto Control come from? Apparently it was listed there. Where is this Kanto Control? Am I blind? You know what? I'm not gonna bother reading anymore. So yeah, that looks my favorite piece so far. Alright, Leon. Tono Grotto. Grants plus 3 attack to himself, grants 1 chunk punch against colors, and inflicts disadvantage on them. Attack res -6 on foe. Neutralize his penalties to his attack and res. Reduce time post attack by 7, excluding her specials, and Scary Evolve attack. Refined effect. At the start of the enemy phase, grants attack res plus 6 empathy, and cancel affinity to him and allies when 2 pieces of him for the turn. Then start the player enemy phase, and after he acts, if on triggers, you do it after that as well. Inflicts triangle tapped on closest foe and any foes and 2 pieces of those foes. Attack defense rest plus 11 to himself. Deals plus 1 damage during combat, excluding for specials. It's solid enough. I still think Bjorn's probably my favorite, but that's just me. Right, new songs. And then we're done. Alright, let's see Sweethearts 2. Okay. This feels like it's like a support conversation one. Maybe like at the end or something like that. That's precious to me. Petals in the Wind. Oh. Oh, okay. I think this might be like an ending theme or something like that. I can't fully remember. It's been a little while. Either way. That's about it. Best of your summons, what you think of the refinements, let me know in the comments. I'll see you next time.